Good afternoon. Welcome back to Passionate World Talk Radio Network. And today I'm going to be combining two programs, People Need Help and where people can go to share their stories when they need this help. So we'll start at the beginning. Yesterday, I went down to a place called Superior Oxygen. 2 weeks prior to that appointment, I had to do a home testing for sleep apnea to find out whether I needed what everyone calls a CPAP. Taking that test was a real pain in the rear. I have no other way of putting it. You have to position it a certain way. And if it isn't, you keep on hearing this artificial voice telling you your belt needs to be adjusted. You don't have it on the right way, and so on and so forth. So it's very difficult to get a lot of sleep. On the third night, I just slept because I was so tired. And then 2 weeks later, I receive a call to go down to Superior Oxygen on Penn Avenue in Reading, Pennsylvania, the same place where the infamous Reading Railroad appears on the Monopoly board. That should give you a location fix. And the gentleman took me into a little room and went on with his presentation. Now, my unit is a lot more advanced than the units that went out 10 or 15 years ago. So if my unit doesn't look like yours, don't panic because it's just a new improved model. When my doctor put in the order or the prescription for the unit, the first thing you should know, it is a 13-month contract at X amount of dollars. Now, I'm not going to tell you how much this is going to cost me because yours may be different. However, I want to tell you that your company that you go and get your unit from provides all kinds of additional extras. Yes, you need to pay for them, but they're like a one service center, sort of like going to a Sam's or Costco or B&J's. You can get anything you want there for your machine. My machine came with what they called a humidifier. Now, when you fill this humidifier, there's a maximum line right here. And you just don't fill it with tap water. No, you have to go and buy distilled water. Now, I know for a fact that you can make your own water at home because my late husband, who was an organic chemist, used to make distilled water all the time. But you need to have room to do it. Once you fill it up to the line, then you're presented with this unit. Okay. Now they preset everything at the factory or at this company for you upon the recommendations that your doctor provides for them. The thing you need to know is that when you fill this up with water, you may or may not use all of it up. Doesn't matter. You have to get rid of it and fill it up with more distilled water. You can buy the distilled water in the supermarket right next to the purified water and the spring water. The only big difference is it's not colored and it doesn't have any sweetener in it. No fruit juice. This is distilled water. And of course, once a week, you need to clean it in warm, soapy water. Postscript. Just because William Shatner is on TV talking about a machine that cleans your hose, you should know that according to Superior Oxygen, that there's a difference between cleaning and disinfecting. And that when you disinfect something, there's no rule that you're going to get all of it cleaned out so that it may leave bits and pieces behind in the tubing. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it will start growing like an amoeba or a fungus. What my gentleman recommended was to hold it up to the tap flush it through with water, and then put it over the shower curtain and let it drip down. And that will take care of it. All right, this is the tubing that one needs to connect. Now, you're probably wondering, Lillian, I'm not going to remember all this now or ever. Well, let me tell you something. I was in his office for 10 minutes and I remembered it. Plus, you get your own special carrying case. Incidentally, if you need to travel and you can plug it in, like on a plane or on a cruise ship or even on a train, these are portable. But more important to us is that it's not considered additional baggage to bring it on. They have a little handy dandy folder carrier that you put all the stuff in several pieces, and you can bring it on board. It's about this big by this big, very compact, and don't pack any wet water in there. I've been told that you can bring on frozen distilled water and the airlines won't give you a hard time. But seriously, folks, frozen water is not going to help you if you need it because you're on a red eye to get from London to New York or New York to London. So also there's two on and off buttons in the same place. This is the on one, this is the off one. And then you have the mask. Yes, you connect the tubing to the mask like this. Very easy. And this is the mask. And if you're worried about your hairstyle, well, I can tell you this. You're going to do a lot more styling in the morning. Doctors need to see that you're on this machine for at least 4 hours because everything is connected by the internet. And there's a virtual connector inside this unit that lets them know whether you're using it or not. So do yourself a favor and use it. This is full face, which means that your nose and your mouth are combined together. And yes, all during the night, it breathes and you get this pure oxygen coming in. And the first time you use it, it feels like you have a stuffed up nose, but eventually everything settles down. The other tip I can tell you is you feel a lot better if you lie on your back and your head is thrust forward. If you go to this side or you go to that side, you get a lot more oxygen coming in, and that is not a happy place. Now, this was my first time, and I have to tell you, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and the whole idea of using this unit is to make sure you get a lot of sleep so you won't be tired in the afternoon. I am not making any guarantees. I'm just letting you know. So should you have a cap like this with a machine that you use to help you sleep at night and you want to talk about it or exchange tips or stories, please contact me, Lillian Caldwell, at the number 1 SC Podcast, PODCASTS at gmail.com, or text me at 484-364-1032. Leave your name, your text number, and when and how I should get in touch with you, because I really believe that because of the COVID-19, nobody is paying attention to the rest of the problems out there. In fact, there was a young mother who was upset because her little baby of several months had cancer. And because of COVID, the cancer research has slowed down. A lot of the researchers were let go, and it's difficult for her now to get the cancer treatment necessary for her toddler. So think about that. I want to thank everyone for joining me this afternoon. And please remember that People Need Help will appear at a scheduled time tonight at 5 p.m. We're still talking about anger, the type when you lash out and your tongue and mouth lash out before your brain has a chance to kick in. Again, text me at 484-364-1032 or email me at the number 1 SC Podcast, PODCASTS at gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening. And remember, it will prevent you from snoring. Won't your spouse be delighted? Have a great day.